Hi, my name is Joy. Should textbooks be included in tuition? Imagine you are a college student who is getting prepared for your next semester. You're very eager to get into the classes that you have been working on your prerequisites for, but now you get the tuition bill. It is a huge amount of money that you do not have. You get signed up for your classes, you get to class, you look at the syllabus, and all you see is this long list of required textbooks. Each one of those textbooks has a price tag attached to them. All of the textbooks are more expensive than you are willing to pay for. Where does our tuition money go? Where does it go to when we pay our tuition bill? Instruction. According to Penn State University research, all activities that are part of the instructional program are used within this part of instruction. It looks about a third of the money you give goes to instruction. The next one is academic support. This is a different budgeted support for course and curriculum development. The development is very different than the instructional portion of the money. This also includes academic administration and personnel development provided and given to administrative personnel and to allow support and direction for the management. The student services. This includes Office of Admissions, Registrar, and other activities whose purpose is to maintain students' emotional and physical well-being and their intellectual and social development within the formal instructional program. This is where our textbooks could fit in. This would support our intellectual development within the instructional program. Textbooks are ripping us off. According to New York Times article by Dale Buss, prices have risen 186% in just 2 small decades. From Government Accountability Office, tuition and fees have also risen by 240% in the past 2 decades. The Government Accountability Office report states that textbooks are replaced with a new edition every 2 to 3 years compared to every 4 to 5 years only 20 years ago. From each edition, there are a few new developments. Edition 1 and Edition 6 would be or could be very different from each other, but Edition 4 and 5 would be very similar. There could be small changes in the wording or a definition or a picture or the length of pages, but the content pretty much stays the same unless it is a big addition change. The inflation rate is what's killing students. There is too much of an inflation rate in just a small amount of time that we have been attending school. 186% of prices of textbooks and 240% with tuition and fees. That is significantly higher than what it needs to be for the amount of education and the amount of resources we have. There are a lot of options that we have for textbooks, but we have to go out of our way to figure out these options. According to eLiterate.us article by Audrey Waters, about 33% of students report going without purchasing the required textbook for their classes. If they don't buy the textbooks for their individual self, students could be forced to share textbooks with other students or beg an upperclassman for the use of the required textbook. Sharing a textbook can lead to many issues. These issues could include the book getting torn, something happening to the book when it's in possession of one person. There could also be worksheets or workbook portions that need to be completed and turned in by each student. And that cannot be done if the textbook is being shared by 2 or more people. There are textbooks that are available on websites like eCampus or Chegg that has some availability for our classes. Ebooks are not easily accessible from those types of websites. Allowing students to have an earlier edition that is basically the same would keep the prices down and the students happier. Students will keep responding that ebooks are not wanted, yet they're required to purchase them anyway. These ebooks are not allowed to have earlier editions, but the current edition is what is required for the class. And there is no way around the huge price tag that is on these, because these half-price bookstore websites do not have these available. They just have the hard copy available. Some professors may even require textbooks that are only available at the campus bookstore. There's no other place or other website that you can acquire these books from. How is that fair to the students? Textbooks that should be included in tuition pricing. According to the Harvard Academic Journal, textbooks should not be an external out-of-pocket cost for students. Textbooks cost a variety of prices for each program. The classes should focus on the academics and not be focused on the cost of textbooks. I chose personally my prerequisite courses based on how expensive they were going to be for me. I looked at the textbooks list that would be required for these classes and picked classes that would not require me to pay more out of pocket than I was comfortable with. While living in a dorm, the prices are all inclusive for space and shelves and possible inside accessories, including a sink. Textbooks should be treated as such. They are required for students to have for their classes. It is required that we have storage in our dorms for our stuff for us to live with. Textbooks may be even more important or a necessity to us as students, so we are able to learn and to figure out the world. Educating students for tomorrow is what is really needed for our community. Education is what really matters. There are so many opportunities for us that we could be missing out on because we cannot afford a textbook. Textbooks, although they may seem unnecessary and an extra expense for students, I find it very important that I get a lot of information from the textbooks before I attend class, so I know what the professor is going to talk about in class. I can have kind of an understanding of what will be happening through the textbook reading. That is why I always buy the textbooks, even though I normally cannot afford them and I have to use some sort of financial aid or apply for book grants. There are so many opportunities that could be happening, and there's so many students who could benefit and not have to retake classes because they can't understand the material if textbooks would be included in our tuition. Thank you.